Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take a better like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary at 12. My name is Hansen Delta. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
Painesville, welcome to today, Tuesday, June 10th, 25 edition of the program News Desk. News Desk is a 45 minutes news presentation from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. This news program is powered by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. I'm Naketa Roberts presenting. In the headlines, Monrovia State Court holds hearing into motion for preliminary examination of evidence in the ongoing Capitol building arson case as filed by defendants Funati Kofa and others. The district inspector goes missing in Nema County as locals launch search operation. Barely a week after ArcelorMittal indicated its US $1.4 billion iron ore concentrated in Nema County, Senator Yan Twine blasts the company for what he calls failure to comply with the amended Mineral Development Agreement. Out of Liberia, school children swept away as heavy floods and snow hit South Africa, the BBC is reporting. These developments, plus more, including the voices of the newsmakers, sports, the bulletin of news, are all part of today's edition of the program News Desk. We are taking this break to be right back.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us. Up next is the bulletin of news with Emmanuel Sensee. Good evening, Emmanuel.
Good evening, Naketa. Good evening, everyone. The 5 lawmen were recently detained at the Monrovia Central Prison for multiple charges on Tuesday appeared before the Monrovia City Court for preliminary hearing. But District 5 Representative Presidia Kopo, according to our judicial correspondent, waived her rights to preliminary hearings, meaning she's opting for separate proceedings. The request from her lawyers was granted by Magistrate Ben Bako after prosecuting lawyers interposed no objection. The state first witness in person of Chief Inspector Peter Johnson told the court they have sufficient evidence linking Kofa and others to the burning of the Capitol building in December 2024. Peter Johnson said Representative Dixon Sibu was the architect and organizer of the fire incident. According to him, former Speaker Funati Kofa facilitated the process through defendant Thomas Etheridge, who recruited people through Kofa's influence. He said information obtained from defendant Thomas Etheridge's cell phone was authentic and implicated the lawmakers to the December 2024 incident. Our judicial correspondent further revealed that the case will continue on Wednesday, June 11, 2025 at the Monrovia City Court. Representatives Funati Kofa, Presidia Kopo, Dixon Sibu, Abu Kamara, and Jacob Dibi were charged by the police for multiple crimes, including arson, criminal conspiracy, criminal facilitation, and criminal attempt to commit murder, among others. The search operation has been launched by residents of Bo Administrative District in Nema County for District Inspector Edison Wola, who went missing since Friday, June 6, 2025. According to reports, Inspector Wola, age 63, left work in Walpei and went to his farm in Bokosan. He has since not been found. Arisia Nima County correspondent said the locals have since launched a search operation for the missing district inspector. They have also informed the Liberia National Police about the incident. Our correspondent noted that although the police are yet to officially launch a search operation, residents of the neighboring towns have been searching for the missing district inspector. He said, while this incident is not strange in Nima County, this is the first for a high-profile individual to go missing in the Bo Administrative District. Barely 1 week after ArcelorMittal officially inaugurated its US $1.4 billion iron ore concentrator at Mount Tokade mining site in Nima County, Senator Myean has blasted the company for what he calls failure to comply with the amended mineral development agenda. Speaking in a press conference on Tuesday, the Nima County Senator called on national government to revisit the clauses in the MDA in the interest of the ordinary Liberians before granting the company renewal. He said if their concerns are not addressed, they will oppose the renewal of the Mentor's mineral development agenda. Senator Twain, among other things, outlined ArcelorMittal's failure to upgrade housing facilities for residents, failure to employ Liberians in higher ranking positions at the company, poor road connectivity, and what he called disregard for the laws of Liberia. He accused the company of consistently bypassing the Nima Legislative Caucus, citing their absence at the recent delegation of the concentrator. However, the executive chairman of ArcelorMittal, Lasmin Mita, has praised Liberia's development over the past 2 decades and reaffirmed his company's strong commitment to the country. Speaking during a formal appearance alongside President Joseph Boakai recently, Mr. Mita reflected on his first visit to Liberia in 2005, noting the vast transformation the country has undergone since then. He said in 2005 there was hardly any electricity and road connectivity, but now he could see electricity lines, paved roads, and progress. Mita said it was based on this progress that his company has invested more than $3 billion to create jobs and livelihood for the people of Liberia, making it one of the largest private sector investors in the country. Lasmin Mita emphasized that such a large-scale investment could not have been possible without the company's trust in Liberia and its people. He further highlighted ArcelorMittal's unmatched contribution to Liberia's economy, stating a lot of people have made commitments, but no one has invested as much as ArcelorMittal has invested. Reflecting on his long-standing relationship with President Boakai, Mr. Mita said he had always admired the Liberian leader since his tenure as vice president under former President Ely Johnson Sirleaf. ArcelorMittal Liberia recently dedicated the country's first iron ore concentrator in Nima County as part of its Phase 2 expansion project, reinforcing its long-term commitment to industrial growth, job creation, and infrastructure development in Liberia. Army Chief of Staff General Davison Fole has outlined the armed forces of Liberia's preparedness in the wake of increase in tourism into Sahel, cyber crimes, and piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. Major General Fole said Liberia's defense further relies on both national resilience and regional solidarity. Speaking in an interview with the armed forces today, Major General Fole maintained that strengthening AFL-ECOWAS ties will be central in navigating the next 50 years of regional peace and stability. The AFL Chief of Staff said the Army will continue its collaboration with ECOWAS and its international partners for the maintenance of security and peace through the sharing of intelligence. The House of Representatives has passed the bill establishing Numnompo Statutory District, Sibet Township, and Gresge Farm City in Sino County. The legislation was presented to plenary since February 2024 by Sino County District 1 Representative Thomas Romeo Kuya. Speaking to journalists Tuesday after the passage of the instrument, Representative Kuya emphasized that the legislation will provide job creation, youth empowerment, improve health care delivery, among others. He vowed to modernize Greenville City, noting that he has come to the legislature with high expertise. Now, off the home front, a minibus carrying school children has been swept away by heavy flooding in South Africa. A spokesperson for the Eastern Cape provincial government has told the BBC. Washula Rajin said it was unclear how many children were on the bus, but 3 have so far been found alive. Rescue efforts have been suspended as night had fallen and could resume on Wednesday, she added. In a separate incident, the bodies of 7 people carried away by flood water have been found in the province or Tambo district. South Africa has been hit by heavy snow, rains, and gale force winds that have claimed the lives of a further 5 people in a road accident and have left nearly 500,000 homes without electricity. The Eastern Cape, the birthplace of anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela, has been worst affected by the icy conditions, along with KwaZulu-Natal province. The bad weather has forced the closure of some major roads in the 2 provinces to avoid future casualties. That's the shape of the news bulletin. Is back to Naketa Roberts for the continuation of News Desk.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV, into Truth FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll keep your plate like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News Summary of 12. My name is Hansen der Kapizin. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life, that's what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life, that's what I live, you know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
We are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.
Many thanks to Emmanuel Sensee for bringing us the bulletin of news on today's edition of the program News Dex. It's a reminder that you are listening to 45 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. Top stories we're following this evening. Monrovia State Court holds hearing into motion for preliminary examination of evidence in the ongoing Capitol building arson case as filed by defendants Funati Copper and others. District Inspector goes missing in Nimba County as locals launch search operation. Barely a week after ArcelorMittal inaugurated its U.S. $1.4 billion iron ore concentrator in Nema County, Senator Yan Twine blasted the company for what he calls failure to comply with the amended mineral development agreement. Out of Liberia, school children swept away as heavy floods and snow hit South Africa, the BBC is reporting. For first development tonight, the 5 lawmakers who were recently detained at the Monrovia City Prison for multiple charges on Tuesday appear before the Monrovia City Court for a preliminary hearing. But District 5 Representative Priscilla Cooper, according to our judicial correspondent, Val, has waived her rights to a preliminary hearing, meaning she is opting for separate proceedings. The request for her lawyers was granted by Magistrate Ben Bako after prosecuting lawyers interposed no objection. RCR judicial correspondent Peter Tobe has more on this development.
District 5 representative saying that she doesn't want the preliminary examination. Does that mean she wants to go straight to litigation?
His RCR judicial correspondent Peter Tobe with that report. He filed his report on RCR News and Analysis on today. A search operation has been launched by residents of the Ball Administrative District in Nema County for District Inspector Edison Bola, who went missing since Friday, June 6, 2025. According to reports, Inspector Bola, age 63, left work in Wapei and went to his farm in Wakosem and has since not been found. RCR Nema County correspondent Yang Flomo has the details.
Friday, the 6th of June 2025, a 63-year-old man identified as Edison Wabula, who is the district inspector for the administrative district, the district number 4, went to work in Botany with the help of the district, and that Friday, he from work and went on the farm in the evening hour. According to reports, Mr. Buddha left the town along the farm in the is yet to be seen. What to find his location Now, as we speak, he won't be able to be found or identify all the pictures that we may know. The city of the town was not to inform the police, even the district commissioner, including the resident of the person where he found. The other towns never have begun to successfully in the pictures of every town. Last day, they refused to
have the police any statement concerning a search operation being launched for him?
Well, not exactly. The police haven't said anything. But so far, that the people, of course, saying where Mr. Buddha is from, the district commissioner to inform me that they informed the police and the police went on the scene. Went in the town to get some information. But since that time, the police are not going back to the person where this man is from. But as we speak, the citizens of the town are not committed and this test of the missing things.
Is this a strange phenomenon in Limba?
Well, this is not strange. The addition of poor, where the town for crossing, to say it's strange, but in Limba is not strange. The addition of a day, 4 years ago, from there we were missing in the region, and as we speak, that man is yet to be seen. So, the study that we need to make people in Limba County, and Mr. Africa is the biggest from missing, especially as a district inspector, specifically young man who will go on the farm and say the 6th of June. That means not straight to the people of Lima, but it's just for four. I'm making this is the first time I'm coming to residents of there, and so I'm conversing and watching this.
His Nimba County correspondent for RCR, Yang Flomo, they're reporting to RCR News and Analysis. Barely 1 week after ArcelorMittal officially inaugurated its US $1.4 billion iron ore concentrator at Montocadet mining site in Nimba County, Senator Yan Twine has blasted the company for what he calls failure to comply with the amended Mineral Development Agreement. Speaking in a press conference on Tuesday, the Nimba County Senator called on national government to revisit the in the MDA in the interest of the ordinary Liberians before granting the company renewal. He said if their concerns are not addressed, they will oppose the renewal of the Metard's Mineral Development Agreement.
Liberia at large, we must not settle for less. We deserve more. The next MDA must reflect the true aspiration of our people and hold ANL accountable for its track record. Again, if these demands and these non-negotiable demands are not met, we will lead the process of resisting the renewal of any kind of MDA in favor of ArcelorMittal. I issued this statement to address critical concerns regarding ArcelorMittal Liberia's failure to comply with key provisions of the amended Mineral Development Agreement of 2007, while AML has continued its lucrative mining operations and boasting of $1.4 billion infrastructure expansion aimed at upgrading its oil before export, while our people continue to endure substandard living conditions and broken promises. The following are unequivocal breaches of the Mineral Development Agreement and undeliverable social corporate responsibility by AML. 1. To improve the lives of people within the concession area. 2. The company has made little effort to restore and upgrade housing facilities in Naketa, leaving our once beautiful town dilapidated and lying in ruins, while billions are taken from its soil. A blatant disregard for Liberia's senior management inclusion and the failure to meet 50% senior management code. This is a clear violation of Article 10 of the 2007 amendment. Article 10 of the amended NDA clearly stipulates that within 5 years of 2012, 25% of the management position should be held by Liberians. Within 10 years by 2017, that number should increase by 50%. And within 1 year by 2008, AML was required under Article 10 to appoint a Liberian to one of the top 3 positions of AML, which are the Chief Executive Officer, the Chief Financial Officer, and the Chief Operating Officer. Today, AML top 3 executives remain foreign. This is not just a breach of contract, It is a slap in the face and gross disregard to the professional Liberians that we have. ArcelorMittal uses the strategy of transfer pricing to avoid declaring profit from which Liberia could benefit dividend as per the MD. Development must be inclusive, accountable, and rooted in social justice for our people.
His Nimba County Senator Yan Twine there blasting ArcelorMittal for what he calls failure on the part of the company to comply with the amended Mineral Development Agreement. However, the executive chairman of ArcelorMittal, Lakshmi Mittal, has praised Liberia's development over the past 2 decades and reaffirmed his company's strong commitment to the country. Speaking during a formal appearance alongside President Joseph Boakai recently, Mr. Mittal reflected on his first visit to Liberia in 2005, noting that the vast information that's transformation of the country since he first came is commendable. He said in 2005, there was hardly any electricity and road connectivity, but now he could see electricity lines, paved roads, and progress, among others.
Everyone, congratulations to your employees, your colleagues, your back of the looking for this situation, the president is here to integrate also with the celebration first. Today is just the beginning of this major project, major journey. When I visited first time in 2005, and since now you can see in 20 years this country has changed. When I came in 2005, there was hardly any electricity in the town. And now you see the electricity, you see the roads, you see the comfort, you see the progress, and you see our project. We are spending about $3 billion, we are creating 10,000 direct jobs, indirectly presidential mark, so 200,000 people are supported by our projects. So it's a great achievement with Liberia, and it shows the confidence and trust we have in this country. And this is very important. We could not have spent $3 billion if we did not have the confidence and trust in the country and the people of Liberia. I know that a lot of people have made commitments, but no one has invested as much as ArcelorMittal has invested. See, I know President Bukami when he was the vice president under President Saleh. Even after he left the office, I sent him a letter and I felt that he has a great future to serve this country. And I see that he is sitting here as our president. And we are continuing to invest in community, in the school, in the vocational training, including the completing the work from Genta Yekepa routes when we were driving before the work being done. Which the president will see one of the first phase of the project, that is crushing and screening. There are a lot of projects, a lot of buildings are there. You will not be able to see, but at least giving a sense that how important is this investment for the country.
Is the executive chairman of ArcelorMittal, Lakshmi Mittal. They're praising Liberia's development over the past 2 decades and reaffirming his company's strong commitment to the country. Army Chief of Staff General Davison Fuller has outlined the armed forces of Liberia's preparedness in the wake of increase in terrorism in the Sahel, cybercrimes, and pirates in the Gulf of Guinea. Major General Fuller said Liberia's defense further relies on both national resilience and regional solidarity. Speaking in an interview with the Armed Forces today, Major General Fuller maintained that strengthening airfield ECOWAS starts will be central in navigating the next 50 years of regional peace and stability.
Was refers to new threats like terrorism, cyber attacks, maritime security, climate-induced instability, Liberia will seek deep-hole collaborations in different areas. Probably I'm going to name 3 or 5 of these areas. We talk about joint training and interoperability that has to do with priority should be given to joint exercises focused on counterterrorism, cyber defense, asymmetric threats, and the participation in ECOWAS stellar force. We look at intelligence sharing in early warning, very interesting. The integration of ECOWAS early warning system to improve real-time intelligence exchange and proactive responses to cross-border threats. We might look at maritime security corporations, where joint patrols and intelligence sharing is going to be ECOWAS maritime strategy. We got the Yawadi Board of Conduct. These all will help to simplify the we talk about capacity building, we talk about harmonization, some doctrine and legal framework. I don't want to go in detail, but if I should summarize what I try to say in a nutshell, Liberia defense future relies on both national resilience and regional solidarity. Strengthening ECOWAS in the relationship and ties will be central in navigating the next 50 years of regional peace and stability.
His Army Chief of Staff, General Davidson Fuller, there outlining the armed forces of Liberia preparedness in the wake of increase in terrorism in Sahel, cybercrimes, and pirates in the Gulf of Guinea. The House of Representatives has passed the bill establishing Nomopol Statutory District, Sebi Township, and Grisby Farm City in Sano County. The legislation was presented to plenary since February by Sano County District 1 Representative Thomas Romeo Quia, speaking to journalists Tuesday after the passage of the instrument. Representative Quia emphasized that the legislation will provide job creation, youth empowerment, improve healthcare delivery, among others.
We are happy to inform the people of Sino that we passed the legislature today at the level of the House of Representatives to pass the instruments. They passed the bill and establishing the Mobile Secretary District, the Mobile County District, the Sano County. We passed a bill that creating Grisby Farm City. We're going to laugh when you find a farm. There's a big community that has 125 inhabitants. They also pass Sebi Township. Sometimes pass somebody purpose something that has a semblance of Sebi being or borough. And they didn't want to go. They didn't have money to borrow in your country. So now we need to borrow in this country. So we have come to work along our political instrument and pass today. So Sebi has township. What these instruments, what they mean to the people? So they will create job employment, job creation. Usually when you're doing development planning, and I learn facts is people. What comes to the people? What happens to the people? So the instrument is so unique because they will bring life to Sino, they will bring youth empowerment, they will bring education, health care delivery. So everybody in that part of the region will feel government's relevance, government impactfulness. So we are happy that today, after a long research in February, last February, today, it passed at our level. And we can assure you that we will continue to do our utmost, that we enjoy Senate consent until we send correct. So that's why we just want to tell you that we have made breakthrough in the history of Sino County. I think we are the first lawmaker for that matter. Created this, I don't know. I think the last time I checked. And then now there are 5 instruments that we have passed. They will become lawmaker. Sometimes they say, oh, usually we buy elections, when you want elections, don't think you're only a people. Then they will identify, will know what to do, they will say something about it. And that's why for me, I'm not too attentive on what the student minority, in China, we don't do. I'm doing my utmost and I'll do my best. I'm going to go west in the side. I'm going to do as I need. So I'm not going to system. More nice review.
His Sano County District 1 Representative Thomas Romeo Quia. You're listening to 45 of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. In more news, since the end of the civil conflict in 2003, there has been no comprehensive assessment of the state of Liberians' mental health, but experts say there is no doubt that at least 1 million of us are suffering. And Liberia begins the process to hold accused perpetrators to account in a war crimes court. Experts warn that trauma is going to be trigger for many people. They are calling for mental health services to be stepped up across the country. In this collaboration with New Narratives, Gloria Webb visits Grand Cape County to find Liberians who are participating in counseling sections and finding relief and rebuilding their lives.
Musu searched the community, but she lives here alone. Musu was just 15 in 1995 when a commander with the National Patriotic Front of Liberia took her from her home in Lofa County to be a so-called war wife. Like thousands of girls during the wars, Musu spent almost a year forced to cook, clean, and have sex whenever he wanted. She says the commander murdered, raped, and tortured many people in front of her. Musu has no children and no husband. She has spent 30 years alone dealing with her trauma.
I just feel that all men looking now because to get trust me is very hard for me.
Musu is one of at least 1 million Liberians who experts say are suffering mental and emotional problems as a result of their war trauma. Evidence shows trauma can be passed on through DNA. So children born after the wars will be in too. The government made mental health support a basic human right in 2017 by passing the Mental Health Act, but it has not done any study to know the number of Liberians who are struggling with mental disorders. It's a problem that is only getting worse, says Sedu Sware, the head of the Liberia Association of Psychosocial Services.
We're having a problem, but we don't know the size of it. We don't know what we are fighting, and this is scary.
Sware's organization began psychosocial services for victims in this country many years ago. People were hesitant to take part, but counselors told them they should come out if there were things that were troubling their minds. As Liberia begins the process to run a court to try those accused of war-related crimes, Sware warns basic trauma training will be an essential first step.
Almost all of the judges, the lawyers, those that will be part of the approach, they need to be trained on basic trauma-informed approaches because there are so many ways trauma-affected persons that are being engaged, they can communicate, and if you don't have that background training, you will not know why you think you are helping, you are actually harming a person.
Mental health issues on the mind of Dr. Jala Babu, head of the Courts Establishment Office.
We have done some strategies. We have to ensure that we manage every individual in this process.
I was down. I was really down.
57-year-old pig farmer Momo Kamara says the sections have changed his life. He says he was captured and forced to carry loads by Ulimoke in 1996. He suffered from a painful back injury ever since. Later, he lost his wife and was left to care for their 8 children. He sank into depression.
But since the counselor started talking to me, I gained hope again for my life. I started doing my little backyard gardening, and from it, I'm taking care of my children.
Meanwhile, Momo has become an advocate for mental health support and is calling on the national government to make it a priority.
Everybody somewhere, somehow was affected by the war. The government needs to prioritize counseling. Counselors need to be in each and every country to help people.
This report was in collaboration with New Narratives, with funding from the Swedish Embassy in Liberia. I'm Gloria Wule reporting.
Many thanks to Gloria Wule from New Narrative for that report at this juncture. We now cross over to Thick Sports with Edwin Butterford. Good evening, Edwin.
Good evening, Naketa. Good evening, everyone. Lawyers representing the Liberia Football Association have finally succeeded in indicting 4 students from the University of Liberia through the grand jury of the Mansourata County. The indicted students are Stephen Brown, Momo Butler, Christian Bryant, and Obadiah Jala, all from the Student Unification Party at the University of Liberia. Criminal Court A Tuesday confirmed the U.S. students' indictment and later revealed that the students' lawyer pleaded with the court to turn them over on Wednesday, June 11, 2025, to avoid being apprehended by court officers. Following the court confirmation, according to our judicial correspondent, LFA legal team held by Councillor Benedict Yasia claimed that they paraded a strong and convincing evidence before the grand jury of Mansourata County to obtain a true bill consistent with the law. Our judicial correspondent further said that students' indictment has set the stage for their prosecution at Criminal Court A during the merit or the other turn of court. They were arrested on March 18 by the police after staging a protest at the headquarters of the Liberia Football Association in Swakamo community in Congo Town that went violent with doors preventing employees' movement in the compound, where they were seen with deadly weapons and later throwing stones at the building, leaving some of LFA employees injured on their face. The students were demanding the assist of LFA President Mustafa Raji over claim that he is not a Liberian citizen. They were forwarded to court on March 21, 2025 by the police for prosecution on multiple offenses ranging from criminal conspiracy to physical obstruction of government function, reckless engagement, another person, aggravated assault, criminal mischief, and rotating before their indictment as provided by the law. The Liberia Football Association has successfully completed a one-day safeguarding training workshop aimed at enhancing the capacity of football administrators in creating a safe and inclusive environment for everyone involved in the game. The day-long training program facilitated by the Safeguarding Department of the LFA was conducted on Tuesday, 10th of June at the LFA headquarters. Participants engaged in essential discussion and practical sessions focused on strengthening their knowledge of safeguarding policies, how to identify and report concerns, recognizing and responding to signs of abuse, and creating safe space for children and volunteers adults. At the close of the event, LFA President Mustafa Raji congratulated the participants for dedicating their time to gain knowledge on safeguarding, which is important in football. Raji also praised the facilitators Jerry O'Chunuple and Kebeji Lamin, imparting knowledge to others. The workshop aligns with the LFA Football Development Bill with emphasis on the importance of capacity building. Now to basketball, the 2025 National Basketball League's actions will continue this Wednesday with D-Rockets taking on Desert Lady at 5 p.m. at SKD Sports Complex Basketball Gymnasium in Pinzu in the Loans Women Basketball League matter. Newly promoted Spartacus and Butcher Bulls will battle at 7 p.m. in a hope to return to winning ways for Spartacus, who have been inconsistent with victories in the first division category of the LBA League since its commencement. The league will continue on Thursday with Highway Scarlet taking on Highlanders females in the women's division of the league, and Georgia Warriors and King George Kenneth will face off at Game 2. The rulers of Matty Barrow will be hoping to bounce back from their poor form when they take on MPF Patton in Thursday's last encounter at the SKD Gymnasium. As part of continuing effort to promote peace and foster togetherness among the people of Powen community, the Powen Town Sports Association, in collaboration with the youth leadership, will launch a peace and reconciliation tournament on June 19, 2025. The tournament, according to the organizer, will feature football and kickball matches between the 6 blocks of the community, creating a friendly atmosphere that brings people together through the spirit of sportsmanship. The youth chairman of the community, Franklin P., called on all community dwellers, especially the leaders, to come out in full to witness and support the event. Well, Naketa, that's it for the latest in the world of sports.
Many thanks, Edwin Butterford, for bringing us sports on today's edition of the program news desk. So in this news, the recap of the top stories we have been following tonight. Monrovia set a court holds hearing into motion for preliminary examination of evidence in the ongoing Capitol building arson case as far by defendants Fonati Kofa and others. A district inspector goes missing in Ima County as locals launch search operation. Barely a week after ArcelorMittal inaugurated its U.S. $1.4 billion iron ore concentrator in Ima County, Senator Myean blasts the company for what he calls failure to comply with the amended Mineral Development Agreement. Out of Liberia, school-going children swept away as heavy floods and snow hit South Africa, the BBC is reporting. Many thanks to our contributors, editors, writers, and all those who helped in making today's edition of the program News Desk a success. Not forgetting our sponsors around Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. Emmanuel Sensee brought us the Bulletin of News. Edwin Butterfoy and Red for Sport, Kobo Sanga coordinated the sounds of Naketa Roberts presenting. Good night.
Ria TV, True FM.
Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV, into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll keep your data like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News summary of 12. My name is Hansen the Represent. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.